Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, League of Legends proudly brings to you its soon-to-be ADC Champion of the World, Lucien the Purifier. And by that I mean, welcome to another League of Legends review here on VGU Gaming. I'm your host as normal, Dom the Expert Calls from VideoGamesUncovered.com, and yep, we're taking a look at Lucien the Purifier, the new guy, the new man. Hey, he's so awesome. But don't take my word for it, let's go on with the review. Lucien enters the League of Legends roster and joins the likes of other ADCs in the bottom lane. With a combination of AD and AP ratios and an emphasis on casting his abilities, can Lucien become the next must-have champion? After playing the Purifier on its initial week, it is time to load those guns and find out. The new legend has a very strong presence about him, in both his skin and artwork. His skin resembles aspects of Vayne, as Lucien is a hunter by trade. However, he is more dark and edgy. But one thing to keep in mind with Lucien as well, is that he is the first ever male black champion in the league. This gives him a lot more flavour and a fantastic presence on the roster, as he is the one-of-a-kind killing machine. As for Lucien's alternate skin, it completely changes his look. You see, as he dons the hired gun skin, Lucien seems to change his look to resemble Raven from the Tekken series. This skin also changes his backing animation as he sits back in a large chair with two vials in each hand. This is both amazing and yet slightly confusing for a simple reason. The reference does not go well with the skin. This animation makes reference to Morpheus from The Matrix when he offers the red pill or the blue pill to Neo. But the difference in this case is that instead of offering the red pill or the blue pill, it's offering the red vial or the blue vial. The reference is really well received, but with the skin it just looks a little bit alien. Not a massive concern, but something to keep in mind for fans of the sci-fi trilogy. Anyway, enough about looks. What are Lucien's abilities about? Well, it's time for that ability lowdown! Starting off with his passive, Light Slinger. After using one of Lucien's abilities, his next auto attack within 6 seconds will strike twice. The second shot deals 50% of Lucien's AD, but fully applies on hit effects. Minions and monsters take full damage from the second shot. The second shot can critically strike. You see, this passive ability for the AD champion is very potent and strong at all stages of the game. The ability to put out more damage on an auto attack after using an ability is extraordinary. A key thing to note is that this does not make Lucien's auto attacks completely overpowered. You have to perfectly time your auto attacks after using an ability to maximize the damage output of this passive, which is no easy task. This gives Lucien both a great entry level quality and a professional quality that can cater to all players. Next up is his Q, Piercing Light, with a range of 550, cooldowns of 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, a cost of 60, 65, 70, 75, and 80. The active is this. After a 0.35 second delay, Lucien fires a laser in the direction of the target enemy, dealing physical damage to all enemies in a 1,100 unit line. Minions take 75% of that damage. Now, it's also key to keep in mind here that the physical damage dealt is also added by quite an abundance of your bonus AD, so that is really cool, and it also goes with the ADC aspects of Lucien. Lucien's Q has a nice balance of poking potential, minion clearing, and damage output. Getting this ability first is a must while battling it out in the bottom lane, so it can give you an advantage when it comes to poking enemy champions. The ability can be tough to master at first, as it expands past the initial range. The best trick for this is to target a minion in front of a champion you wish to hit. This allows you to get some gold for minion farm, as well as cause damage to your opponent, the old two birds with one stone tactic. The skill is balanced nicely, as early game it is not that big of a threat, but then it scales well into late game. Be mindful of two things however when casting this ability. First, you will be static for the cast time, so expect to be hit. Secondly, the ability will slow you down if you have an abundance of attack speed. Perfecting the casting time, range, and idle time will be necessary to mastering this Q ability. Next up we have his W, Ardent Blaze, with a range of 1000, cooldowns of 14, 13, 12, 11 and 10, and cost of 60 mana throughout. The active is simple. Lucien fires a shot that explodes in a cross pattern upon hitting an enemy or reaching the end of its path, dealing magic damage and marking enemies hit for 6 seconds. If Lucien damages a marked target with his basic attacks or abilities, he gains 40 movement speed for 2 seconds. This does not consume the mark. Key thing to keep in mind with Ardent Blaze is that it has an AP and AD ratio, but it is a 90% AP ratio and a 60% AD ratio. Ardent Blaze is a very key ability that can allow players to really explore the building potential of Lucien. If you look at the ability closely, you'll notice that it has a much higher AP ratio than it does AD. Combining these together can only mean one thing: hybrid building. Building a champion hybrid allows them to capitalize on AD and AP ratios, as well as lifesteal and spell vamp all at once. Not every champion can pull it off, as it requires at least 2 abilities with AD and AP ratios. Luckily, Lucien has exactly what it takes. Hybrid building aside, this ability is a great tool for singling out opponents. Catching up with someone is no longer a worry, as all you need is a mark on the target and a single shot to make up the ground. As well as catching up, the skill also helps with getaway tactics, as you can shoot at your opponent to widen the gap. The ability can also be used to fire into bushes and reveal hidden champions within. Unless you are going hybrid, you should not worry about the damage output of this ability, as it is mostly used for the mark application. When AP is put into this ability, however, it can be a huge bomb and render the Q at a later level useless in teamfight situations. And then next we have his E, Relentless Pursuit, a range of 425, a cooldown of 18, 16, 14, 12 and 10, and a cost of 60, 45, 30, 15 and 0 at the highest rank. And its active is simple. Lucien dashes a short distance and removes all slowing effects. Relentless Pursuit's cooldown resets if Lucien scores a kill or assist during the culling. Lucien's E is a dangerous ability that should be a concern to anyone facing him in a one-on-one situation. Although it is not a damage dealing ability, it allows the champion to position himself for attacks and getaway tactics. As well as using the ability for positioning in fights, it can be used to dash over certain obstacles such as the dragon and baron walls. At first, this skill does seem balanced, with its range, cooldowns and mana cost. However, once it has been maxed out, the skill has no mana cost whatsoever. This will allow Lucien players to keep dashing all day long with no drawbacks, which can seem a little too powerful for a carry that already has a movement speed gain. This can be debated, but from what has been seen of Lucien's players so far, this ability can make the champion very difficult to deal with in fights, as he can outposition his opponents with ease. And then last but not least, we have Lucien's ultimate ability, the Culling, with a range of 1400, cooldown of 175 and 50, and a cost of 100 mana throughout. This is what it does, so listen close. Lucien starts firing shots in the target direction for 3 seconds, each shot dealing physical damage to the first enemy it hits. The amount of shots fired scales with his attack speed. The Culling is considered a channeled ability, and it can be interrupted, but Lucien can move freely, including movement abilities, without interrupting it himself. If you reactivate the use of the Culling, it cancels the ability early. The Culling deals quadruple damage to minions but not monsters, keep that in mind, and it has a large damage output potential if you can land every single hit on your opponent. It is nuts. The Culling is a great new style of ability which has yet to be seen in League of Legends. It emphasizes the use of positioning as well as the skill to know which direction to aim it. This ability is one of the tougher ultimates to master, as you must understand the core skills. First off, you must target in the appropriate direction. Aiming off target will cause you to simply shoot in a direction that won't bear profit. Second is to utilize the ability to move. Unlike Miss Fortune's ultimate that requires her to be still, Lucien can move around while shooting. This means that using your W and E in conjunction with the ultimate is necessary for mastering. Lastly is the amount of shots fired by the ultimate. If you can time how many shots you can hit your opponent with, you can maximize the damage output. The scare of this ability is that with free movement, bonus damage and a continuous stream of shots, the skill looks to be overpowered. In fact, the ultimate is very strongly balanced. As squishy champions would get drilled down by this ability, as intended for Lucien's assassination style, tanks can easily step in front of the stream of shots and take the full brunt of the damage instead. This means that Lucien can waste his ultimate if he does not prioritize the correct target. As well as this, he is completely susceptible to stuns and slows that can stop him from successfully killing those important targets. So with that all said, Lucien is a damage dealing assassin with great compatibility in the league. His balanced set of abilities as well as his hybrid build potential is a welcome sight to the roster. Although his positioning capabilities can be something to debate when it comes to being overpowered, the damage output from both his abilities and auto attack damage is not too overpowering if you know how to counteract the champion. As late game hits, he can deal deadly damage, but with no crowd control to back it up, you can easily freeze him in place with stuns and slows. Lucien is a great choice for any experienced AD carry and anyone that likes playing a hybrid in the bottom lanes. So there is the review of Lucien, ladies and gents, and I hope you've really enjoyed it, but let me ask, what do you think of the newest legend to enter the league? Do you think he has the power to overcome any foe, or does he simply keep poking you with a small stick? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and be sure to share with us your experiences with Lucien as well as other League of Legends champions in the VGU forums. All the links you need, including a link to www.videogamesuncovered.com, are in the description below, so by all means check them all out. So in the end of the day, that is the review, but what is my suggestion? Should you buy, try, or not get Lucien? Lucien may be a bit of a mixed bag for some, but overall he is a well-balanced champion for what he does. His assassination tactics are very strong, but that doesn't mean he's overpowered, since all it takes is a little bit of crowd control to nerf him down. So simply, I'm just going to say, buy Lucien. He's worth it, you're worth it, go and get it if you have the riot points or the saved up influence points. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this review. I hope you have enjoyed it very muchly. Please be sure to like and favourite, and be sure to subscribe for more reviews, previews, and video game related videos in the future from VGU Gaming. Until next time guys, I'm your host as normal, Don the Expert of Coles from VideoGamesUncovered.com, and I'll be seeing you guys on the other side.